Howdy, folks. Smoke a joint. I had something on my mind lately. I know, right? Imagine that. Um, a lot of the people that I talk to, that I chat with on a regular basis, that I interact with, they're 20 or 30 years younger than me. And so, without getting into the reasons for that, um, I don't interact a whole lot with people my age. The few close friends I have here that I see on a regular basis are much, much older than me. 20 or 30 years older than me, for the most part, in their 70s and 80s. And I tend to hang out with people that are much older than me or much younger than me. Most people my age are fucking boring. And I mean fucking boring. Um, I don't know what happened. We used to be the radicals. And somewhere along the line, 90% of us became good consumers, fell into line with the rest of the stooges. And the other 10% of us that didn't go down in a ball of flame became old and gray and grizzled and bitter. I'm not one of those. As much as I sound angry, and often bitter, I'm not bitter. I really am optimistic. And I'm optimistic because I spend so much time talking to young people. By the nature of evolution, where I see problems, they see solutions. You know, there are a multitude of problems that seemed insurmountable to my parents that are that easy to fix now. And there's no way for me to foresee the technology and how it's going to play out in what they do, what these younger kids do. But I can tell you this. Being raised with nearly instant access to any fucking thing is changing the face of the human race. Probably more so than fire. Probably more so than anything since agriculture was invented. And probably more profoundly and more completely by the time it's all said and done. This is changing everything. I watch videos of this woman in Thailand, and she goes out in the mud flats at low tides and catches mud crabs. And her husband's videoing her catching these mud crabs. And I found it interesting. I don't understand what they're saying. They're speaking Thai. But I've learned how to handle crabs the old way, how to do the Thai. I've watched how she does the Thai enough times that I could do it. And I've watched how she decides which holes to poke around in. Old hole, new hole, round hole, so on and so forth, and where the bigger crab. I learned all this shit. How the fuck else am I going to learn how to catch crabs on a Thai mud flat? And that's just, I'm old and I fucking like to wander around and see whatever the fuck I can learn. Somebody that's focused, for fuck's sake, you can, if you have a sharp enough mind and you're 7 years old, you can find Professor Bari, or you can find physics, or you can find any fucking thing you want, and you're the next Stephen Hawking times 10. And that shit's happening already. If you don't know who Professor Bari is, you need to find out. Because it's him and kids like him that are our fucking future. It's all going to be like that eventually. You think they're rotten brain cells sitting there playing Minecraft, but they're not. They're evolving. Way faster than us. If you think the generation gap between my parents and me was immense, the generation gap between me and my kid is massive. He doesn't know a world without fucking internet. He doesn't know a world without computers. He doesn't know a world without instant access to information. I mean, if you look at what's going on with computers right now, all these holographic and 3D and all this incredible shit. I'm older than video games. I'm older than video games. When I was a kid, there was no such thing. There was no Atari. There was no Coleco. There was no Pong. The best you got was a text game with simple text-based graphics. Played on fucking 4-inch or 8-inch floppy diskettes. You needed 12 of them to play a game. Then there's Star Trek, maybe. I think the Oregon Trail one, I think, was one of the first ones I played. It's just text answering question, multiple choice. Go subroutines that you could write in BASIC. Didn't even need any programming language to do it. And that's all there was. And there wasn't even that, really. It was just because my dad was in computers, we even had that shit in the house. And now every kid born in the last 20 years has had one of these in their hand since they were born. I've seen them. Somebody needs to make a drool-proof, chewable fucking baby phone. For real. If they don't have one already, Fisher Price needs to get on this shit. I remember a lot of people my age started having kids. They'd play like fucking Mozart and have specific mobiles hanging over the baby's crib. Uh, Patterns all over, and they did this baby Einstein shit. They're really into, tuning a baby's mind up right from the get-go and getting them ready to be 100%. What the fuck do you think this is going to have on them? When you give them one of these right from the get-go, what's that going to do to the way they formulate brain patterns and logarithms and decision making and so on and so forth? I mean, we don't know. We don't know. We know that it's going to be beyond our comprehension because we weren't raised with one of these. We don't even have the fucking brain power or the understanding or the evolution in our thought patterns to understand the people that are being raised with one of these. It has increased the speed of their evolution that much. The generation gap just got fucking 10 times longer. These kids that are growing up with this technology, they're seeing things as blocks of information instead of sentences and words. So, yeah, Bob Dylan said it, man. We need to get the fuck out of the road if we're not going to lend a hand. If you can't at least dig what these kids are into and check it out and see it from a non-egotistical, leave yourself out of it point of view, sucks to be you, man. How does it feel to become irrelevant by your own choice? I've understood since a pretty young age that every generation of kids better get fucking smarter and they better understand a new world because by the time they're semi-adults, it's going to be a new world. The shit my grandparents taught my parents was irrelevant by the time they were adults. They taught them to farm, they taught them family values, they taught them this, that, the other thing from the last fucking century. How to get through a depression. That wasn't the world my parents lived in. They had to learn a whole nother world because their parents didn't give them a whole lot of skills to go out into the world with. Because by the time they were adults, my grandparents' skills were irrelevant. Farmers were becoming factory farms and agribusinesses, and that kind of shit was drying up and dying away. And the same is true now, only on a bigger scale. The shit my parents tried to teach me was irrelevant. You know, this 40-hour work week ethic, straight and narrow, drink on the weekends, play in a bowling league, keep your friends forever. That is just not something that works in today's society for very many people. It surely wouldn't have worked for me. So it's real important when you're interacting with these kids, with the younger generations, to understand that you don't know anything. You really don't. It seems like there's a whole lot of shit they don't know. And you're like, how the fuck do you not know how to drive a fucking stick shift? Because they're becoming irrelevant. The same reason you don't know how to clean a fucking coal chute. kids don't know how to read an analog clock. So fucking what? Who the fuck cares? I've not been anywhere in the last 20 years where there isn't a digital clock within 20 feet of me. Or at least it's very, very rare. It's archaic technology. Fuck it. Throw it overboard. I know how to use it, but I don't need it. And cursive. There's another one. Cursive. Who the fuck decided it was a great idea to learn 2 different ways of writing? If you want to, go ahead. But why force someone to learn simultaneously 2 different ways of writing? I'm going on 55 years old. I never once ever learned to make all the letters in cursive. I can make all the small letters, I think, and a lot of the large letters, but not all of them. I don't think the way I sign my middle name is correct. Do not fucking care. There is no valid reason to learn cursive and print. One or the other. Cursive is a little harder to read, but it's easier to write. Whatever. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Now here's some of the most retarded. How are you going to sign your name? You don't have to sign your name in cursive. Your signature is whatever you decide your fucking signature is. Period. Write it however you want. You write it on cartoon balloon letters. That's your signature. Fuck off. Oh, they're going to read the Constitution. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that somebody fucking wrote it, printed it a long time ago in print. Big block print, bold. New York Times, sans serif font, whatever the fuck. Are you serious? How are you going to read the Constitution? Pretty sure they've made a copy of it by now. I've seen it. It's irrelevant. Fuck it. Most of the shit you know about how the world operates, it's fucking irrelevant. Fuck it. What worked for you to get you through your life, to get you through your struggles and your childbearing years and whatever the fuck it was, it's not gonna work anymore. Fuck it. Shut up. Stop trying to teach it to these kids. You're irrelevant. Get over it. Learn what the new world is like from them before it's too late. Or you'll end up doing what we did to our elders. Fuck them. They kind of fucked us, so we kind of said, fuck them. Of the group of 9 or 10 people that have been with me throughout my entire life, most of them are fairly tight with their moms. None of them give 2 shits about their fathers. I've heard the word sperm donor tossed around a lot. You know? I mean, I didn't raise my son. So it fits me. But if I put this into the context of things I wished I could teach my son, it would be things like how to extrapolate from existing information, how to learn, how to examine the evidence and arrive at a conclusion, how to draw a logarithm, how to draw a chart, a flow chart, how to learn what the scientific method is. That's it. It's the only set of things I would want to teach my child. How to figure this shit out. for themselves. Because anything I have figured out is fucking irrelevant. And trying to cram shit into my understanding of the universe is only going to limit them. Same as my parents' thinking limited me as a child. Yeah, there's way more to learn from the youth of this world than there is to teach them. The evolution of the human mind in society as the societal norm, this zeitgeist of thought that's taking place here on the internet, is moving way faster than anybody of our era can even fucking comprehend. We have entire subcultures that come and go in a week. Entire fucking massive social experiments that are going unnoticed. You know? And it's going to take it. It's going to take these youth. We're fucked. I mean, we're fucked. It's going to take a miracle. It's going to take a whole bunch of geniuses to fix this. Bunch of people, all the rich people are going to go to Mars and terraform Mars and live on it. Wouldn't it be much cheaper to do that here? Just saying. That's another group of people that can go on my list from the video from last week of people who can fuck off. Anybody and everybody burning holes in the atmosphere with giant rockets for the purpose of space exploration and or communication. Those people can all fuck off. It's called space for a reason. Nothing out there. Not for a long fucking ways. Once Earth is not fucked, then we can go look for somewhere else. But we're never going to find something else before Earth is fucked. And don't get me wrong, Earth won't be fucked. Humans will be fucked. Probably everything but bacteria. Start over. Yeah, fucked up. Yeah, man. The issue is that the planet goes through cycles, and it's based on its celestial um, orbit through the galaxy. And at one point in that orbit, things are fucking wobbling like mad. And that's when evolution happens the fastest, but it's the most chaotic. At another point in that revolution, the planet isn't quite wobbling quite so madly. And things get huge. But they evolve slower. Like dinosaurs. If you're following me still. Okay? Slow wobble, fast wobble, evolution chaos. Not so chaotic, slow evolution. That's one of the seasons, celestial seasons we have as we travel through the Milky Way. And right now, well, a few hundred years ago or so, we passed through the breaking point of when the wobble in our planet is at its most profound. So we're in that chaotic but highly charged evolutionary period. Because nothing spurs evolution like pressure. The most adaptable survive, so the more pressure there is to adapt, the more shit's gonna fall along the wayside. Us as Homo sapiens don't have a very broad bandwidth of adaptability in comparison to the rest of the creatures here on the planet. Better than some, worse than most. Bacteria and cockroaches and rats and mice have way better chance of surviving some shit than we do. It's going to take some of these little genius kids like Professor Bari. I'm going to say it again. Go check this kid out. Holy fuck. Gives me hope. But here's to the kids. Keep it up.